Welcome back. It is Life 2.0 Live, and I am Marissa, and I am joined today in the studio by Debbie Bettendorf. It's so great to have you here with me, Debbie.
So awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're here. We have champagne, so I poured you some champagne, so I hope that's okay.
Shall we toast now?
Yes.
Let's get this party
Let's get the party started.
Right
I said before you were like to the mom life, I was like, I love
You gotta look at me. Cheers.
Cheers.
Look right in there. Cheers
so
to
good.
being here.
Cheers.
So
Cheers to
happy.
being here. So tell me, so you have a book that you've written, you have a podcast,
Yes.
and you also are working on something called Stories with Ori, which we'll get to. You are a very busy woman.
Yes, I am.
You also have children.
Yes.
And so like the full like working mom life.
Right.
And yeah, so how did all of this, like, I assume you didn't, you didn't have the book. That's all relatively new in
Yes.
the last like 2 years, right? The book
Yes.
came out last year.
Yeah, let me
Right.
tell you, Marissa.
Yes, tell me.
This whole thing started like balancing the mom and work life thing.
Yes.
I didn't
It's
do
crazy,
that.
right?
I watched her send a text in between shows for her children and the school. So I did not do that.
Okay.
I actually was a stay-at-home mom for a lot of years.
Okay.
I chose that life.
Okay.
And I feel very blessed that I got to do that.
Yeah.
It was a decision that I made based around my heart.
Okay.
And I know when I was in college, one of my professors, God rest his soul, he's not with us any longer, Mr. Batchelor, he looked at me one day and he said, Debbie, you're going to be on the top floor of a Fortune 500 company running the whole thing.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. But in my brain,
so sweet of you.
It's so nice of you. But even at the time, I thought, that isn't my passion.
Okay. What was your passion at that point?
I was dating my now husband.
Okay.
And I knew that we wanted to start a family.
Uh-huh.
And at the time when he and I first started dating, he was in the minor leagues with baseball in
Okay.
the Baltimore Orioles organization.
Okay.
And I thought, gosh, if he travels a lot, I want
Yeah.
to make sure that I'm home
Yeah.
with these kids. Mm-hmm. And it ended up he got injured and he
That's the hardest thing about sports.
yeah, and he actually walked away on his own.
Oh,
he
wow.
was not
Okay.
released,
Okay.
but he knew that they had put him back in AAA. He was on the 40-man roster to the big leagues. He got injured. So anyway, that whole thing happened. But we decided to plant our roots in our hometown where we were from and have a family, and he traveled with work, and I just really wanted to be with my kids.
Around, yeah.
And I knew that I was able to do that. I mean, we weren't rolling in the dough, but we did very well enough for
you
me
to
to
be
be
able
able to stay home with them.
Yeah.
And so that was my choice at the time. As the kids started getting older, Marissa, I started thinking my whole identity
Yeah. Is the kids.
It's the kids.
Yeah.
I'm David's
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
I'm Victoria and Dalton's mother. And I thought, gosh, my son was getting ready to graduate from high school, so I have adult children. And I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, did I not have forethought knowing that they were going to grow up and leave
I mean,
someday?
I think this happens to so many women, and this was the impetus for Life 2.0. I mean,
okay,
exactly.
well here
Yeah.
I am. I'm 2.0
Yeah.
because this is where I am. I'm in
Yeah.
the second chapter of my life right now, and I have decided to figure out what my passion is and what my soul's purpose is now, because I truly believe my soul's and I'll always be their mother.
Of course.
I'm always there for them,
Yeah,
number
of
one,
course.
first and foremost to this day. But at that juncture in my life, it was very eye-opening because I thought, gosh, I haven't thought about. I didn't have the forethought.
What
to
is your
think,
passion,
What is
right?
my passion beyond
Totally,
this?
yeah.
So I started soul searching a lot, and along the way, I started my own company. I first started a business called Find Your Fabulous, where I work with women mostly, and I go in their closets and I get out what's not working for them, and I put together different things in their closet that looks great and get them ready for events. And I love that because I'm a girl's girl. Like, let's go. Let's cheer for each other. Let's make each other look good. Let's be honest and love on one another. We definitely need that.
Yes.
And so, and I have 2 sisters, so I'm one of 3 girls, and it's just, that's how we are.
Yeah.
And so, decided to go for it. I wrote a book. I wrote a book about Find Your Fabulous because as I work with women, it was very clear that it wasn't necessarily that they didn't know what to wear because they had beautiful clothes and they were dressing very well. It was, they wanted me to say, they looked good in it. And I thought, oh, this is a confidence issue.
Yeah. On the inside.
On the inside.
It was the inside, yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, I do that too. I do that too. I'm guilty of it. So I thought, gosh, and it just for 5 years of this business, I would see women coming to me who were gorgeous and dressed very well, but they'd want me to help them. And I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. And I'm a girl. I also have a daughter, and I wanted to help women feel better about what's on the inside. And I have, and it's my coined quote, I'm no Zig Ziglar, but I said, you can dress up a turd, but it's still gonna stink.
Right.
So,
It's true.
It's like,
you got to figure it out from the inside, right?
You do. And so the book is a very,
what is the crux of the book? Could you sum it up? Like, what's your elevator pitch for the book?
The elevator pitch for the book is look great on the outside, love yourself on the inside.
And do you have a plan for how to go about thinking about your inside?
So there's little short stories. It's a very odd book, I've been told. It's like, this was unexpected. And some pages I've written in my own handwriting.
Okay.
Some pages are typed out.
Oh, I love that. It's like a journalistic feel.
It is very.
I love that.
So it's like stories, and they're like little quotes and little silly things that I say because
you're authentic. You're yourself.
And I like
which I love because that comes across.
Okay, thank you.
No, it really does.
And so I thought when I took it I self-published basically, but I do have a publisher who helped along.
Okay.
But and there was nothing that needed to be changed. He said, now these, in your manuscript, these pictures and the sketches, do you need someone to help you with that? And I'm like, no. Yeah. I want it just like that. And part of that was a healing process for me because I'm very type A, but I'm not an artist.
To be okay with it.
And some of the pages, the handwriting, some days were different than others and not as, some of them were a little more messy. And I thought, you know what? No, if I really am helping women to say, you are who you are, love yourself first, then I need to be authentic with the book too.
Absolutely. It's interesting that you say that because one of the things, so I consult in my other life. I have a consulting company, and with mental health with teenagers predominantly.
Wow, that's so needed.
And one of the things whenever I work with a teenager who is that type A personality, the first thing that we do is we start a journal, right? And they of course want to like erase things, and they want to like really think about it. And I'm like, no, this is your stream of consciousness. Like, this is not supposed to be perfect because it's all about what you're saying, like what you did in your book. It's all about being genuine and true to how you're feeling and not worrying that someone else is going to look. But what's so interesting is you put it out there for the world to see.
I did put it out there, and it is, I've always journaled. Sometimes in my life more than others. I know when I was pregnant with my kids, I journaled like it was my job.
You did? Really?
I mean, how I felt and what I was thinking about how
I love that. Have you gone back and looked?
I just found them like several months ago. I found them again.
You gotta share them with your kids.
I will.
Oh yeah, you've got to.
I was like, oh man, wow, I was really deep here, like what? But how our perspective changes through the different times and decades of our life, and as our children grow, and what I wanted for them is always the same, joy, happiness, and for them to be their authentic self and make a good change in the world.
It's hard to like drive that into your kids, and to be that authentic person,
right? And Sally and I were just talking in the back about children are what they live.
Totally.
So I could say whatever I want and write a book, but I got to live the life and show them, because they're going to be like, well, I watch what you do. I'm not going to listen to you. What teenager listens to?
No, it's all modeling. That's when I do the parenting stuff. That's what the first thing we talk about is your kids are constantly soaking in every single thing you do from the time they come out of the womb. They're listening to it. They're watching with all of their senses. They're taking in everything. They
are.
And they definitely they internalize it, and then they put it right back out into the world.
Yeah, and sometimes they internalize things that aren't right, and so
or they don't understand.
They don't understand, and they internalize it as it's something is wrong with them or their fault. But then that's when the communication comes in, and I'm an over communicator sometimes. But it's good just to let your kids know. I always say this. No one's a perfect mother, no one's a perfect father, but we can certainly let them know how much they're loved.
Yes.
I mean, and not just tell them, but show them.
Show them all the time.
Give them the touch and say, I'm watching you, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
So, But you know, they say, and I've heard this so many times, little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems.
They do say
and,
that.
You know, that's, you know, the whole emotional part of it as
Yeah.
we age too. Now that they're getting older and they have their own sets of issues and thoughts for themselves. And I really try to be open to listen to them, because I got to tell you, I have gotten an education from my children. I have learned so much from those little human beings. They're not little anymore. I always say that.
No,
but
it's true.
I just, if you're open to, you know, I feel like a lot of times as parents, we get into the role of parents only. And then as they grow up, they have their own thoughts and experiences. And if we really pay attention, oh man, it's incredible what we can learn.
Well, and I think they're viewing the world through a very different lens than we are, because of many different things, right? And I've always said that my children are and will probably continue to be my greatest teachers in life.
I love that you say that.
Yeah, I've always said that. Because, you know, I just feel like no matter what stage they've been at or they've been going through, to be able to like witness how they're taking in the world and experiencing it and being in it and living it, and then to also have this literally awesome role of being able to parent them through it. And now, like you're saying, as they're, because mine are 14 and 17, so they're getting close to leaving the house. And so, so it's definitely like looking kind of at the world and what they're going to be going out into and wondering, you know, are they prepared? Did I do what I could? You know, it's so funny. People say to me all the time, oh, I have my kids for 18 years. And I now, like, no, you don't. Like around 15, 16, they get social, they're with their friends, as they should be. Teenagers are supposed to be more with their friends. But a lot of parents don't like that and they don't get it and they don't see it.
It's difficult. It really is. But I know Tori, I call her Tori. It's Victoria, but she's not Victoria. She's
that's
more
like
Tori.
Yeah, I have an Alexa that we call Lexi.
There you go.
So I totally get it.
Exactly. So she had said to me not very long ago, she goes, you know, Mom, it's really cool because our relationship now isn't just mother-daughter. She said, I feel like you're my best friend. And it made me cry because I feel like I'm doing something right.
You did it. Yeah,
I'm doing something right. But it's not, I mean, we don't get along all the time.
But you're not supposed to.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that you don't have a good, like, in fact, and I tell parents of teenagers all the time, if you're not pissing off your teen child
you're not maybe doing
at least
your job.
2 to 3 times a day, you're not doing your job. No, seriously, like your kids, when they are 14, 15 plus, you are supposed to be making them angry. Like that's the role, right? And then they come back, they understand that was the role.
So much they do understand. And I do, like I said to her, I'm like, we'll always be best friends, but I'm always your mother first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your friends. I know you have like an amazing group of friends at home.
Oh my gosh.
And how have they supported you through like this journey in your life where you've kind of, you know, recreated yourself in a lot of ways?
I love that you're coming at me at that angle because our
friendships are so important, right? They really cultivate and help.
Yes, and
in some ways more than our partners. And
I got to be honest with you, the fact that you brought that up made me emotional. Like all of a sudden I felt like a little in my heart because I feel so blessed to have the friends that I do.
Yeah, I could tell. I mean, the pictures that I saw, I could see like how much a part of your life they are.
Yes, and I love that they allow me into their lives and they're part of my life. And not to discount family because I love my family.
Of course.
And they are amazing to me as well. But there's a part that you get to pick your friends. And they have been so incredibly supportive of me and cheering for me. And that's difficult as a woman to find that tribe.
Yeah.
And I have
really support you. That
when
it's not
I did my first book opening. I did a book signing. And I did it in an art gallery in my town. And I just thought, you know, I put it out there, you know, social media. I didn't do like anything in the newspaper or anything like that. But I had so many people. Well, first of all, the core group of girlfriends that are just like, what can I do? What can I do? And I'm like, oh gosh, just be there.
Just show up. Yeah.
You know, it's fine. I get there. They're already there. They had a local bar make a signature cocktail.
That's so cool.
Just for me.
That's amazing.
And everyone, they got glasses for everybody and put butterflies on it because that's my logo. And we did a toast and there were hundreds of people that showed up. There were people out the door to have me sign their book. I couldn't stop crying.
That's amazing.
I was like, how is this happening? And like my community has wrapped their arms around me and just, I feel so loved. And it's amazing to feel that because a lot of times when you're doing really cool things, people can get
jealous,
a little
or
shitty.
yeah. No,
And
you see the true.
Yeah.
You see the people for who they really are. When
and I've
things,
seen a little of it, but for the most part, I choose to focus on the positives that are around me. And wow, it's incredible. So I've really enjoyed, if nothing else, seeing that. And it was very cathartic to write that book and to put it out there. And one thing I want to say is, I know that when I say I'm going to do something, that I'm going to do it. So if I really am wondering, should I do it? Am I going to do it? I don't say it out loud and I don't tell anybody. But when I decide I'm going to do this, and it's not like, this book is a novel that's going to be widely known and all that. I don't care. I did it for me, and I said I was going to do it, and I did. And what that did for me is I know I can trust myself. And in a world where you're really not sure who's with you or who isn't, you want to be able to always trust yourself. I just want to say that because a lot of us sometimes feel like you're on a path or a journey on your own, and that's okay, but be true to you.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice.
Yeah,
I love
so
that.
thank you for bringing up my friends. Because
of course.
I have tons of them that are I know, I brag about them.
Yeah,
and when they go and do
that.
good things, I'm like their mom.
You are. Well, I love that. It's reciprocal.
Oh my
right?
gosh, I'm like, I'm so excited you're doing this. And it's fun. It's like I brag on them because they're like my little children. They're not, but they are, kind of.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So tell me about, you have something called Stories with Ori, that a project that you're working on.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit. I'm really excited to hear about this.
Yeah, so I am excited too, because this is what brought me to LA was Orlando Spado.
Yes.
Also known as Ori, or the mob boss
for
of
those
Hollywood.
you know, for those who know, or
for those who don't, you better watch Stories with Ori.
Yeah,
right here. It's Studio Place.
Yes.
But anyway, so we are going to be shooting Stories with Ori.
Yes.
All over different areas
where
some stuff went down with Ori, because he is the accidental gangster. He had a mafia life. He calls himself a reformed gangster. He does a lot of things now to help people stay out of the life, as he calls it, or as everyone calls it. So we are filming different locations for him to tell us stories that are only in his head, that you can't find them in the library.
And he hasn't written them down.
He hasn't. He has a book called The Accidental Gangster, which is an incredible read. But most of the stories he's going to be telling are things that are just stored away, and we're going to tell them. So tune in.
How did you get involved in this?
Well, I started my own podcast called Find It, which is we're all trying to find something in life.
Yep, we are.
Whatever you're trying to find, you can find it. And I always have guests on that can bring something to the table to say. So through that process, Lynn Serrano is someone who produces my show. She has shows of her own. She had him on her show, met him through that.
Okay.
And I asked him to be on mine. He said yes. And the rest is history.
The rest is history. The rest is up here, as they say.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, I'm really excited.
Thank you.
I'm excited for everything that you're working on. Why don't you look into that camera, tell us where we can find you.
Oh, find it?
Yeah, find it.
Do you want to find it?
The book, the Find It, the Ori, all of it. All of it, Debbie, all of it.
Tell it to me. Give it to me straight.
Yeah, give it all.
You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on LinkedIn. You can find it on Facebook under Debbie Bettendorf. And Find Your Fabulous, Love Yourself on the Inside, Look Great on the Outside. You can find on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here with me.
You're a doll.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. It was lovely having you. Hopefully you'll come back on the show. It sounds like you're going to be in the studio a lot. We're a big family here at Studio Place with producers Andy and Natasha. So thank you so much. It was lovely having you. Stay tuned. After the commercial, I will be joined by Tracy Fredkin.